Alright, let's talk about the differences between metals and metallic bonding versus salts or ionic compounds. In ionic compounds, the electrons are localized to one particular atom in the substance. For example, this magnesium would transfer an electron over to this chlorine, and we assume that that electron is localized to that one chlorine forever. In metals, the electrons are delocalized, and they're free to move around the entire substance as something we call a sea of electrons. Because of this property, electrons are free to move anywhere they want. If we were to put a negative charge on one side of these atoms, the electrons would move away from that negative charge and stream towards the right. The streaming of electrons in one direction is what we call electricity. Here are some properties of metals. They have moderate melting and boiling points. Some are very high, some are very low. Some metals can even melt in your hand. They're malleable, meaning they're able to be flattened into sheets. They're ductile, able to be drawn into thin wires. They're durable. They conduct heat and electricity. And their hardness increases with more delocalized electrons. For example, if a metal loses 2 electrons to that sea of electrons, it's going to be even harder than one that only loses 1 electron per atom. Remember that metals are malleable and ductile, meaning they can be bent around and drawn into thin wires. Well, in order for a metal to be strong, we don't want it to be a pure metal because they're malleable and able to be bent. In order to combat this, we make something called an alloy. This is a solution made up of 2 metals, resulting in a stronger substance. In order to make an alloy, chemists will melt down both metals and mix them in a certain ratio, and then let them harden or freeze back into the solid metal. If you look at the bottom left, you'll see the structure of a pure metal. Let's say it's iron. In order to make an alloy, we need to mix that with another metal. Now there's 2 types of alloys out there. The first type is called a substitutional alloy. That's when you melt down 2 metals of similar size and mix them back together. One metal will substitute in the place of the other metal. This creates tighter bonds and gets a little stronger. The other type of alloy is called an interstitial alloy. This is when you melt down 2 metals that are different sizes, and the smaller metal will fill in the gaps between the larger atoms, making an even stronger bond. This table shows all the different alloys that are out there. Some of the ones you're familiar with would be brass, or bronze, or 10-karat gold, 14-karat gold, not listed on the table, cast iron, and stainless steel.